So I'm going to do a blood orange meringue, and I thought I would do something a little bit different this time than I usually do, because normally I will cook the lemon curd, in this case blood orange curd, in a double boiler on top of the stove. And I recently taught myself how to do pudding in the microwave, thanks to the suggestion of a friend of mine. So I'm going to attempt making the curd in the microwave, which means that I'm going to juice the blood oranges. I've got 6 of them here I'm going to juice, and I've already juiced a Meyer lemon before I moved the camera because I'm not too sure about this camera setup. Still working out the quirks and what I'm going to do here in the kitchen. So I'm going to juice these, but I'm not going to show you all of that on camera because I have got to go pull a pie out of the oven. Another pie, yes, there will be 2. So now that I've juiced my blood oranges and cleaned up, because the aftermath of juicing blood oranges looks about like how you would expect it to, I am ready to assemble the initial steps of the curd, the blood orange curd, because this isn't a lemon meringue pie. So we're going to put in 5 tablespoons of cornstarch, which doesn't want to come out of the bowl, of course, because it doesn't. 4 tablespoons of flour, just all-purpose flour is fine. I mean, you don't want to use like cake flour, something low gluten here, because the point is to thicken it. 1 1/3 cups of sugar with blood orange strips in it, because, like I said, aftermath. And then we're going to whisk this together. And slowly pour in the juice. Now, I should explain about the juice. This is 1 1/2 cups. I had 6 blood oranges, a Meyer lemon from my own tree, and I juiced all of that, and it wasn't nearly enough, so I went ahead and diluted it to 1 1/2 cups with water after reserving 1/3 cup of the juice, which will go into the final stage of this. So the water isn't going to hurt it any. It's just that blood oranges aren't really bred for juice the way navel oranges or such are, and so they're not going to produce as much juice as you think they will. I mean, you could probably buy more blood oranges, but they're not a reliable thing where I live, so they are something that I get when I can. And now you're going to see that this is very milky. And we're going to be cooking this slowly, stirring at each step until it goes clear. Because right now, it's not going to go colorless, but it will go clear, and you'll see what I mean when I get to that point. And I'm going to do this in the microwave. I'm going to start out with 2 minutes at a time, stirring, and do that for, based on what I've done before with pudding, it's probably only going to take about 5 to 7 minutes. And towards the end, you don't want to be cooking it very long at all, maybe a minute. Keep an eye on it. So this is where we are after the first 2 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and add in 1/4 teaspoon of salt, because I forgot to put that in there when I put the initial ingredients. And you can see it's starting to thicken up around the edges. It's nice and hot. Just going to whisk that all together and then put it back into the microwave for another 2 minutes. And again, I am thinking this is going to need 5, maybe as much as 7 minutes. All right, this is where we are after a total of 4 minutes in the microwave, 2 minutes at a time. And it is definitely starting to get there. You can see that it's quite thick. It's still a bit milky. So I'm going to get this all whisked together. I'm going to go gentle with your whisking. That's hot liquid. You're going to splash it if you're not careful. But you can see what I mean about it starting to go translucent. So I'm going to put this in for about 1 more minute like this. And then I think this will be as good as it's going to get. So, and I think the next time I'm going to go ahead and stir this out with a rubber spatula, because it's getting a little bit thick on the whisk. So we're almost there. That is definitely getting there. I went ahead and just gave it another 30 seconds because I really feel like we're there. The point of this is to cook and gelatinize your flour and your cornstarch, because raw flour and raw cornstarch are not yummy to eat. So at this point, you're going to see that it has gone more or less translucent, and it is very thick. And now I am going to go ahead and beat in the other ingredients that go into this, which would be 4 egg yolks. I'm just going to beat those up a little bit more before I toss them in there. So we're going to have 4 egg yolks. These are from my own chickens because I have 2 hens laying right now. So I get about an average of an egg and a half a day. Here's our 1/3 cup of reserved juice. And the zest of 1 of the blood oranges. I'm just going to mix this all together, and you're going to see that it will loosen up quite a bit. I can probably even go back to the whisk at this point for more effective mixing. And if we're not careful, it gets all splashy. Alright, we are really getting there now. So there's going to be a couple of things that are going to happen with this. I'm going to go ahead and cook it for about 1 more minute in the microwave, just so that we get that egg thoroughly cooked, because I am also making a meringue for this with the 4 egg whites that I did not use. It's in a very efficient recipe that way. You're not wasting anything. And I just want to get the egg yolks cooked in this part of the filling. And then I will go ahead, I have a blind baked pie shell ready, and I will go ahead and transport this into that, make up the meringue, top it with that, and then it will go into the oven and bake at about 425, I think, for this, for about 5-10 minutes. You want to really watch it when you're baking meringue. And I don't have the camera set up so that I can show you what I'm going to see, but I'll bring it over here where I've got this when I'm done. I'm afraid to bang this on the bowl because I think I'm going to splatter filling everywhere. But I hate to waste any of it. It's good stuff. So I'm going to pop this back in the microwave for a minute. That should be all it needs. So here we go. Here's my blind baked pastry crust, my pie crust, and here is the filling after I've run it through and done 1 more minute just to make sure everything's cooked through and it's ready to go. And it is a nice thick filling, which is what I wanted. The first time I tried this, I only put in 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, and it was a little runny, so I made a note to increase that to 5, and that seems to have done the trick, because this is definitely a nice thick curd now. I'm just going to level this out as much as possible, and go ahead and make up my meringue. I'm not going to show you the process because I'm going to use the stand mixer and it's quite loud, but it is 4 egg whites, 1/3 cup of sugar, and if you like, you can add a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. That will help with the bubble formation and keeping everything together, but it's not necessary. Beat that until stiff peaks. Generally you add the sugar in after you're already at soft peak stage, and then you can either spoon it on top of this, or if you're feeling fancy, pipe it. I'm not going to do that today. So we'll go ahead and get meringue on top of this, and I've just beaten 4 egg whites with 1/3 cup of sugar until I reached the stiff peak stage. On high in the stand mixer, that takes, I don't know, 2 minutes? It's not long. It's nice. It's so much better than having to do it by hand. I grew up with had to do it by hand. And yeah, I really appreciate my KitchenAid so much. I use it for all kinds of stuff like this. But, so today was just about 2 experimental pies. I'm doing this blood orange meringue with the microwave mat. So there we are. This is going to go in the oven at 425 degrees for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. And there we go on the blood orange meringue pie. That's 5 minutes in the oven at 425 degrees. I'll try to get a photo of it when it's cut, but this is going to dinner with friends, and there will be a feeding frenzy. So who knows? I might get a photo, I might not.